Hi, boss babes of South Africa. I hope that everyone is doing well. So, as you know, we are fully supporting the fight against gender-based violence, an initiative that was started by Women for Change. What I would really like from everyone who watches this video is to be able to add us as a collaborator on your videos, please. I know that a lot of us are creating content around supporting the cause, telling our own story, telling our stories of survival and other stories as well that have arisen in our life. And what I would really appreciate is if you add us as a collaborator to try and get as much reach as possible, to try and reach as many women that could be affected by GBV. And as I've said earlier as well, it feels like we as women are always forced to speak to each other when it comes to GBV, yet we are not the ones that are actually the perpetrators. So a key solution to being able to end this pandemic in South Africa is for men to have discussions with each other, for this to start at grassroots level, for this to start at primary school level, and for that information and education to be embedded around the way women should be treated. The fact that the patriarchy still exists even today as I speak to you right now. The things that are happening out there are really scary. They're frightening because I don't think that we give this enough airtime. I think that a lot of times we like to hide it and push it under the carpet. But I am certainly using my voice for this platform, and hopefully I'll be able to share my own experiences and stories in the next few weeks to really solidify this cause, because I think it's something that needs attention, and I think there are more voices that need to come to the party to really be brave enough to tell our stories, be brave enough to share how we overcame it, be brave enough to talk about the healing journey, which is sometimes a very ugly and painful journey for those who have been through it. I think it's high time that we start naming and shaming these perpetrators, these GBV perpetrators, GBVF, sorry. And just to also reiterate that GBV is not only the physical elements that we sometimes see, it is also very much focused on the verbal aspects, the abuse, the harassment, sexual harassment, being demeaned, being belittled during workplace time, finding ourselves in environments where women are just not respected, we are objectified, we are seen as something that's nice and pretty to look at and nothing more. So that's really where the fight is going to be in the next few weeks, is around telling our stories, being brave enough to tell our stories, and then also just being brave enough to listen to others sharing their stories. And hopefully, as a collective, we can come up with some kind of answer that can really push us forward in terms of solutions, because I think there's a lot to say, but there aren't a lot of solutions out there in terms of what are we actually going to do. We simply can't be accepting this kind of abuse silently anymore. Well, I certainly can't be accepting it certainly silently anymore. So yeah, I think the time is now, and the time is going to allow us to share our stories and name and shame these perpetrators who are literally getting away with murder. And if not murder, they're getting away with some very serious forms of abuse, especially in workplaces. And they are defeating the ends of justice. They are defeating the good practices code that has been promulgated by the government in terms of the way that work spaces and places need to exist. And I think that there's a need for us to come together and start supporting each other during our journey of being able to share what we've all been through, because I think we all have a story, we all have a narrative, and make sure that the narrative that is being portrayed about you is actually your own story, that you've had a chance to input, that you've had a chance to speak about your own experiences, and it doesn't become someone creating a false narrative of you and creating this perception of you that isn't correct. I'm one that fights very hard to protect my own narrative by telling my own stories. And as you know, on social media, I've been a huge advocate for showing up and and sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly, because life is really a combination of those three things. And if you don't agree with me, then yeah, I can just say that you've probably led a very sheltered life. But yeah, life is really a mix of good, bad, and ugly. And our truest purpose and our journey here on life is about being able to share that knowledge that we've learned from our experiences, be able to empower each other, be able to support each other as women, and also lean on men that are also jumping in and supporting this campaign, which is very, very important, guys. I've seen a handful of men jump in and turn their profiles purple, put videos out around how they're supporting this cause. We certainly need more men to come to the party and support women, because like I said, women are not perpetrating this against ourselves. It certainly is called GBV for a reason. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to your future collaborative posts that you will share with us, and let's get this message out in terms of what we've been through, what we've learned, and more importantly, what those who may be going through now at this point need to sort of have in their GBV toolkit, if I can call it that. Cheers for now, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.